first year. They started to contribute in year 2.
Okay.
You know,
All
the
right.
Ecos business, the Ecos business is a razor blade model, to be sure.
But then it's also sort of reaching its majority now.
Yeah, it's reaching its peak. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
All right. Just also being a little bit cautious on time. One of the other questions we had is, again, on the interventional medicine business. And then if we look at it historically, it's been built a lot by acquiring basically other companies. One of the biggest one, I believe, is TerraSphere. Do you happen to know roughly what then, if we would strip that out, sort of the organic versus inorganic growth would have been?
Yeah, I have not followed the acquisitions at all, to be honest with you. But let me just see the Ecos business itself. So first of all, the Verathena business is starting from ground zero with very little revenues. I think it's in the less than $10 million range at this point. It was less than $1 million when I was, and so growth rates are irrelevant at those low numbers. The Ecos business is growing at 29 to 30% per year. The Beats business was growing about 25% growth rate per year. The interventional oncology business, that growth rate will start to tail off, and the management of BTG was aware of that, and hence why they were turning around and investing in new growth opportunities.
Mm-hmm. But you wouldn't know sort of from a top line number what the organic growth would have been?
You're talking about the total interventional medicines business, mid-20s.
Yes, exactly, for the business as a whole, for the IM
Mid-20s.
business.
Yeah, mid-20s.
Mid-20s, okay, that's helpful. Okay, we have 5 more minutes. Anastasia, do you have any pressing questions?
No, I don't. I think it's helpful to talk through some of the products in a little bit more detail and their profile. I think it's interesting what you say about the focus of the group in terms of what internally people are focused on from a revenue kind of perspective. But no, I think for us.
Yeah, you didn't ask anything about the specialty pharmaceutical business. Is it? I don't.
No, and if you can comment on that, that would be helpful as well. I mean, I think what we're trying, I guess if I look at what we're trying to achieve is kind of get a little bit of a better sense for growth margins and R&D. And I think we've got sort of some triangulation of growth. We've got sort of some view on margins, albeit I think you sort of mentioned that, I think the focus is, and from what we have seen, is also on gross margin rather than EBITDA. And also what you were describing about it being loss-making. But yeah, if you can comment on the specialty pharma business, that would also be helpful.
Well, so you know about the business. I think one of the real dynamics that's a relatively high, I'm going to say 80% margin kind of business in the specialty pharma. So it is certainly a higher gross margin than the other businesses, and it's way higher. The net margins are not even are silly, and I'm going to say the net margins are EBITDA margins are closer to 70% in that business. But that business is dynamically changing. So going into I believe in 2018, I think this year in October, there will be for the first time a competitor to the antibiotic Profab, exactly. So there was consent signed. I don't know the extent to which it's in the public domain, or even if a redacted version is in the public domain. But there's a consent signed. There will be a third party entry into that market, and so you'll see that for the first time in the